Tonight, something strange is happening in the sky. Something rare. Something they're not talking about. As the sun sets, a tiny planet so small it's barely more than a cosmic pebble will blaze in the twilight sky like a celestial flare. Mercury, the fastest and most elusive planet in our solar system, will be at its brightest, boldest, and most visible point of the year. Not on Mercury, not on the stunning elongation, but on something quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Data streams are spiking. Telescopes are being re-aimed. Space stations are receiving unusual updates. But while stargazers marvel at the western horizon, NASA's attention is elsewhere. Why? Why is the world's most advanced space agency ignoring the closest planet to the sun during its brightest appearance? What are they tracking that we're not supposed to see? Because tonight it's not just Mercury lighting up the sky. You're about to find out. It's the truth peeking through the darkness. This is the Daily Scope, and what we're about to reveal might change how you see the night sky forever. On July 4th, Mercury reaches its greatest eastern elongation, creating one of the year's rarest skywatching opportunities. This fleeting alignment makes Mercury incredibly visible right after sunset, shining low on the western horizon. It's a cosmic moment of clarity, yet one oddly underpublicized. Historically, such visibility would trigger educational campaigns from space agencies. So why is it so quiet now? Despite this rare Mercury appearance, NASA hasn't launched any public viewing campaigns or skywatch alerts. This unusual silence from an agency known for outreach is raising eyebrows. Archives once filled with clean scans now return blank patches or restricted messages. Is this a glitch? An intentional blackout? Is the silence strategic? And more importantly, what are they paying attention to instead? Mercury's July 4th placement aligns it with the region of the sky near the Milky Way's galactic center. This direction has long intrigued astrophysicists. The coincidence of this alignment with rising infrared anomalies has fueled theories that Mercury might be hiding something or someone in its glare. Astronomers using public sky tracking systems have reported strange outages and data removal in star fields adjacent to Mercury's position. Progress MS-31, scheduled to dock with the ISS, reportedly carries specialized UV and gamma-ray sensors equipment, typically used for deep space radiation monitoring. Such equipment would make sense if something new had appeared beyond Mercury, giving off dangerous energy signatures. Conspiracy forums are ablaze with one idea. Mercury is being used as a cosmic curtain. While the public gazes west in awe, deep space surveillance is happening in the opposite direction. Could Mercury's placement be the perfect distraction to shift public focus? At dawn, another celestial event unfolds. Venus passes near Uranus. While this may seem unrelated, Uranus is a planet with a mysterious magnetosphere and history of strange radio bursts. Could this pairing at opposite times of day be more coordinated than we think? From Chile to Hawaii, several university-based telescopes reported unscheduled maintenance just days before July 4th, when multiple observatories shut down without warning. On the eve of a major celestial event, triggers more questions than answers. The planet's high reflectivity provides a stable reference, which only becomes useful if something near Mercury needs tracking in extreme detail. These emissions don't match typical solar flares or known space bodies. And curiously, they seem to sync with Mercury's eastern elongation cycle. Satellite tracking systems have detected slight anomalies in the orbits of several small near-Earth objects. Some have abruptly altered speed or trajectory. Could Mercury's alignment be gravitationally linked to these shifts? Or are these objects maneuvering around something we can't yet detect? Former aerospace engineers have revealed that Mercury's rare elongation events are often used to calibrate classified orbital telescopes. Infrared observatories have picked up unusual heat signatures peeking out from behind the solar plane. Everyone's talking about Mercury. News anchors are pointing to it. Telescopes are live streaming it. Hashtags are trending. And the public? Hypnotized. Enthralled. But what if this planetary spectacle is the bait, not the main event? The story of the world is being told that Mercury's brightness tonight is a rare visual gift is true, but it may not be the whole truth. In fact, it might be the setup. You see, media misdirection isn't new in intelligence playbooks. It's one of the oldest tricks focus public attention on one shiny object, while something more significant unfolds quietly in the background. Because tonight, just as Mercury glows its brightest, data feeds from 3 of NASA's AI anomaly trackers returned corrupted packets. Independent radio astronomers from Chile to Japan report temporary interference along a narrow corridor, the exact one Mercury passed through. And while this celestial event is dazzling to the public eye, the real story may be moving stealthily in its shadow. Why are private space firms suddenly restricting public access to high-orbit satellite feeds near Mercury's path? Why did NASA's orbital debris mapping go dark for 2 hours today, claiming software issues? The timing isn't suspicious, it's surgical. In space is the perfect stage for such a maneuver. Because here's the thing, while Mercury commands our collective gaze, blacked out feeds from major telescopes, emergency shutdowns of deep space monitors, and unusually silent government observatories all suggest that something else is happening nearby. Not on Mercury. It's not beside it, but behind it, hidden in its blinding light. This isn't a wild theory, it's pattern recognition. We're told to look at the wonder, not the warnings. And in the silence between updates, between the awe and the applause, lies the possibility that tonight's biggest story isn't about what S visible, but what S being hidden behind the curtain. Let us step back and ask the one question no one is asking. Why should we care? It's just Mercury, right? It's just a bright in the sky. Wrong. What's happening tonight is more than a planetary highlight. It's a test. Real. Rare. A once-in-a-generation alignment of light, shadow, and cosmic opportunity. The orbital geometry, the solar glare, the media distraction it won't align like this again anytime soon. It's the perfect cloak. And if an advanced object, military, extraterrestrial, or experimental, wanted to pass through our orbital security net without detection, this is the window. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, tonight, not from Earth. This is the moment to do it. That's nature's perfect optical cover. The cosmic equivalent of flying a stealth jet in front of the sun. Here's where it gets even stranger. According to leaked telemetry logs from ESA's Doppler mapping satellites, an unknown object passed behind Mercury's projected path just 19 hours ago, triggering a system flag. Labeled UOZ, Unknown Orbital Zone. This code hasn't appeared since 2017, when an unidentified metallic object flew through Earth's upper orbit and disappeared without trace. Not just for awe, but for access. Because while Mercury shines, the shadows behind it are ripe for movement, for secret launches, for data transfers. The last time this specific blind spot opened, there were at least 3 international observatories that logged unexplained movement, and they were silenced within 48 hours. And the question, isn't just who? Susan it, but whether we'll ever find out what they moved through that corridor of light and silence. Because the next great shift, whether it's political, technological, or existential, may not come from the headlines we're fed, but from the quiet movements in the sky we've been trained not to see. For unidentified objects to move past Earth's blind spots unnoticed, and the terrifying part, we wouldn't even know. A test of attention, of awareness, of who controls the narrative of the cosmos. In a world drowning in celebrity drama, algorithm-driven content, and infinite scrolls of noise, the universe just offered us something raw. The public should care because this moment is unrepeatable. What's passing behind the applause? Because space doesn't care about your Instagram feed. It moves in silence. And sometimes it only speaks once. There are moments in space where science meets espionage, where geometry becomes a tool for stealth. Tonight is one of those moments, with Mercury perfectly aligned between Earth and the Sun. Its blinding reflection creates what experts call a celestial blind spot. Telescopes can't penetrate it. Infrared sensors get saturated. Even high-orbit satellites suffer signal washout. And that, friends, is the opportunity. We live in an age where surveillance is everything, yet space remains largely unregulated. And that should terrify us. So yes, look up tonight. Don't just admire Mercury. Ask what's riding its light trail. If you wanted to move something through Earth's orbital sphere without being tracked, say, a black-budget satellite, a deep space probe or something, so what's happening now? NASA official tracking systems are still online, but their data stream for this sector is currently offline, or recalibration. This alignment isn't just beautiful, it's a cosmic exploit. A blindfold over our eyes. All signs, military shifts, AI alerts, telescope blackouts point to one unsettling truth. What we're seeing tonight might not be the event. It might be the distraction. Mercury is putting on a show, yes, burning bright in the night sky, commanding headlines, dazzling astronomers. And if anything were moving through that precise zone, unidentified craft, so surveillance object, a signal relay, we'd never know. Not because we weren't looking, because we were looking at the wrong thing. That's how true stealth works. It's not invisibility, not cloaking fields. Drifting in the same orbital corridor Mercury passed through just days ago. Not fragments from known satellites, not debris from past missions. Something else. Something not logged in any database. It's something that wasn't supposed to be there. Why? Because we're trained to watch the spectacle, to marvel at the lights, to scroll past the silence. But behind every celestial event is a corridor of opportunity for movement, for strategy, for the unseen. Because somewhere right now, something is moving and the world might be too distracted to notice. But distraction, sleight of hand. Put something bright in front of the lens and let the real operations slip by behind it. But what if that's exactly the point? And if an object artificial or otherwise wanted to slip past Earth surveillance systems without triggering global alarms? Tonight would be the night. Mercury gives the perfect cover. The news cycle is occupied. The public is enchanted. Sensors are blinded. We may never know what just passed by us, cloaked in the brilliance of the obvious. And space, as always, remains vast, silent, and unregulated. In intelligence circles, it's called misdirection. Focus the world's eyes on the flash, the noise, the spectacle, while the real operation unfolds quietly in the background, undetected and unchallenged. And when we pull the curtain back and trace the breadcrumbs, regular data transmissions from deep space satellites, unexplained reroutings of military satellites, the strange silence from ground-based observatories that suddenly lost signal, they all lead to one place, not on Mercury but behind it, hidden in its glare, cloaked in the perfect alibi of celestial brilliance. Tonight, Mercury sits in a rare alignment perfectly backlit by the sun, its reflective surface turning it into a blinding mask against which no telescope can see. Let's take this further. Why have AI monitoring systems, which usually detect orbital anomalies in real time, been mysteriously offline or returning false positives for the last 48 hours? Why are multiple radio telescopes across Australia, Chile, and Hawaii all focused near Mercury's coordinates suddenly down for maintenance? Since when does the global astronomical community go dark during one of the most photogenic planetary events of the year? These aren't coincidences, they're patterns. Suppressions. Digital silences that speak louder than any broadcast. And let us not forget the recent classified space debris report leaked from the European Space Agency mentioning anomalous metallic fragments. All of this begs the question, what's hiding behind Mercury tonight? And more importantly, who knows about it? Because here's the terrifying beauty of cosmic misdirection. The brighter the light, the deeper the shadow it casts. We live in an era of hyperconnectivity. But somehow, in the most critical moments, we remain the least informed. And unless we start asking the right questions, unless we stop looking at Mercury and start looking beyond it. So tonight, don't just look up. Look deeper. Past the light. Past the story you're being told. So tonight, as Mercury blazes across the sky and the world looks up in awe, remember this. Sometimes the brightest lights are cast to hide the darkest truths. We're told to marvel, not to question. We're encouraged to observe, not to investigate. The routine maintenance that always seems to happen at the worst possible time, the real question is, what don't they want us to know? But history has shown again and again that when we stop asking questions, we stop seeing what's real. Because this isn't just about Mercury, it's about the silence around it. The systems that went dark. It's the signals that never made it to the public. If something moved tonight, if something passed by us, cloaked in planetary brilliance, behind the shimmer of a celestial distraction, then the biggest question isn't what NASA knows. You were told Mercury was the story, but maybe you just witnessed the cover-up unfold in real time. Stay curious, stay questioning, and never stop looking beyond the light. If this made you think twice, do this. Like the video, if your eyes are now wide open, subscribe if you're ready to see what others miss. And comment below. What do you think is hiding behind Mercury tonight? Because in the silence of space, the real story is always in the shadows.